Yes! Success! Ah, 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 ah!
Well, that's a jetpack.
It is, isn't it?
Billy begs the question, why?
Why? Why? We spent the last 3 months here cooked up watching movies and drinking cocktails.
It's a sweet gig, right?
No, I'm a man of science. I need to help people, fight the forces of evil, fuck shit up.
Now the geek in the science wing ate it, that's why he's vying for his job.
That's right, and this is my ticket to the big seat.
Don't those dorks just glue cell phones to shoes and get blown up by lighter bombs?
But the 401k is amazing. Dave, activate the pack.
Activating the pack!
Ignite the engines.
Are we sure this is safe?
Igniting the engines!
Turbines to speed.
Now you're just quoting Batman!
Leroy Jenkins!
Success! I'm definitely gonna get that job.
I can't believe you fucking did it.
My legs are on fire.
Oh shit, yeah, sorry about that.
Okay, so are you gonna give us our movie now, or?
Are you fucking serious? I built a fucking jetpack. I'm not hanging out with you losers.
Yeah, but come on. Okay.
Why didn't you just fly away?
Oh, the Justin Bieber doll got lost in the mail before we shot this. Tell you what, you go to the bar, I'm gonna go talk over the movie trailer. The thrills never stop as Agent 007, Sean Connery, goes above the call of duty and to the bottom of the ocean to track down a villainous criminal who's holding millions hostage and threatening to plunge the world into a nuclear holocaust. Very, very slowly. Okay, that's the synopsis thing done. Dave, go ahead and activate your bar thing. Oh, yep, there you go.
Today, for Thunderball, I'm going to be making a Rum Collins, a drink that actually appears in the movie, as opposed to being in some Ponzi book and being very complicated to make and tasting kind of like pine sol.
Rum Collins, Mr. Bond?
Yeah.
It's like a Tom Collins, only with far less Tom. First ingredient is going to be rum. Second ingredient is going to be my tiny little shaker because I can't shake a Boston shaker in this jacket. And we're going to serve it in a Collins glass because why not? Gonna have 2 ounces of rum, because God forbid you get drunk off a cocktail. Juice of 1 entire lime. I swear this is powdered sugar. For some reason it calls for powdered sugar. It smells great though. And pretty simple. We're gonna shake it. Pour it over ice. Add 1 cherry, and then a soda water fill. And then a twisty straw so it can look extra manly. It's a Rum Collins.
Well, Dave, This is now our 5th mission. And we were one man down when we really needed him. Because, holy God, this movie.
Bit of a chore.
Let's talk about the drink first.
Bit of a chore.
What the hell's in my hand?
The Rum Collins is an old man on a beach drink. It's a lot of water. It's a lot of sour. So you can drink a dozen of them at the beach without dying. If you have that palate where you really like beach drinks that are weak, that are sour, it's gonna be great. I love it. If you have the palate of an 8-year-old boy from Ohio,
You put Sprite in it.
you put Sprite in it.
This is a perfect drink for Thunderball, not only because Emilio Largo offers one to James Bond. It is also perfect because it is filled with a lot of water and a lot of sour. This
Whole
movie feels every bit of its length and more. Holy shit.
It feels like a 3-hour movie.
And like
Easy.
there are ingredients again to like in the drink, which is why it's weird how this continues to work. The ingredients for this drink sounds great on paper, but then you put it in your mouth and it tastes like dishwater.
The ratios are off for a normal, traditional, not old man drink.
Exactly. And the ratios are off for Thunderball. It's like, there are great. The one-liners are great. The comedy is great. Bond is great. The gadgets are fucking through the roof.
Even lots of the action scenes are good. They're just paced.
Stretched way too far. When things are slower underwater. Why does no one understand this? Things are slower underwater. Holy fuck.
It moves at a snail's pace. And that's not like legit snail's pace. In the middle of fights, in the middle of a fight, they will cut to a lobster or a crab or coral. Punch coral. Have you ever seen that in another movie?
This is the first action movie is directed by Jacques Cousteau. The 00 agent, he takes a punch at Emilio Largo. It's going to sound like we're shitting on this movie, because we are. It does a lot right. We should say that at the top.
It does a lot right, but the problem is it does a lot right spaced over way too long.
It needs an editor. Holy God, it needs an editor.
And for something that takes its time so much, it has the most absurd jump cuts where you'll see a dude in a boat and then it'll cut to them standing on a beach. What?
Or no, even worse than that. There's a jump cut where they're walking on the beach, and it's just they take 3 steps and then they're 6 steps ahead of where they were, which is fine if like you have them on the beach and then you fade to them sitting down at a table. You can do that kind of edit. You can hide your edit, but it's literally a jump cut. It's like we're watching a fucking Tana Mongeau video or whatever the fuck. That is a dated reference. I do not understand YouTube.
Stop fooling around and face down, please.
All right, so before we jump into categories and all that other stuff, like let's talk about some things that the movie does right, which would be the pre-credit sequence.
Which is great. That part is fast-paced, good, has little different twists and turns, a bunch of interesting stuff, and then the rest of the movie has.
It's James Bond fighting Jack Lemmon. It's fantastic. That guy looked like Jack Lemmon. It's just Jack Lemmon and Some Like It Hot. Just fucking taking a swing at
Jack Lemmon in drag fights James Bond. Like, it starts on a coffin that says JB, so for a second, like, it pulls you in. You're like, oh, is this a James Bond fake dying? No, and then it pans up to him, so it does different stuff. And then he has a jetpack for no reason.
You're glossing over. Like, Sean Connery in his most gleeful just takes a full-on fucking swing at a lady.
Well,
like,
lady.
Right, but like at this point we don't know. He's just like, hey bitch, and just bam, just clocks her.
I think the director was trying to be like, hey, isn't this a shock? But it's Sean Connery, it's not a shock.
Right, yeah, that is true. We're watching this from a modern lens.
Yeah.
So it's a little, like, oh, okay, well, we clearly know to look for it. Which is why all the rapey shit in this movie really, like, because normally when people talk about like, oh, James Bond's rapey, he's pretty fucking rapey.
He's pretty rapey in this movie. But then she falls in love.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's the way that works. We've watched Revenge of the Nerds. So the pre-credit sequence, great. James Bond figures out the ruse, beats up Jack Lemmon in a dress. There's surprises, there's a fight scene that spills all over, and you can definitely see Sean Connery is more established now. Doesn't do as many of his own stunts because they actually use a stuntman as opposed to the first
They
two
use
movies.
a stuntman that can break time and speed.
Yeah, like they overcrank the camera. It's still a good fight scene. It's very pro wrestling-esque because
It's ferocious.
they launch each other into shit. It's fun. He kills the guy with choking him with a poker, and then he escapes on a jetpack, and it looks ridiculous. And that's a real jetpack, by the way. Only 2 people could ever operate it. So that was a real prototype jetpack.
There's a lot of plot in this movie. Well, there's not a lot of plot in this movie. You guys seen Broken Arrow? Yeah, it's a better version of Thunderball. It's the same plot.
That movie has Christian Slater and it's better.
It has Christian Slater and John Travolta. And that movie has Howie Long! And it's better.
He's the best part of that movie.
He gave us a scream. They steal a plane that has 2 atomic warheads on it.
It has 2 nuclear bombs for a training exercise, which is never really explained.
That's what they did in Broken Arrow too. It's literally.
I thought they were just transporting it in Broken Arrow.
No, it was a training exercise.
Fair enough, I guess.
But yeah, they steal the plane. Granted, it's neat the way that they do it. You know, the underwater landing, despite the fact that reasonably certain the plane shatters once it hits the water. But
Yeah, I'm pretty sure a jet going that fast hitting water would just turn into juice. But
yeah, but
neat.
But as far as for what should just be, you know, Largo is smuggling the bombs and threatening to basically extorting the world so that they don't blow up what turns out to be Miami. It takes a long time to get there, which I guess we're kind of making the Thunderball mistake ourselves. We're prolonging it. We should just get it out of the goddamn way. So we've got 5 categories that we're going to judge this on: babes, booze, baddies, music, and gadgets. We will rate those from a scale of 001 to 007. And we will start with our first category, which is babes. So Thunderball has 6 babes, and always present, thankfully, is Moneypenny, one of the strongest elements of the movie. We also have Mitsuko, Pat, Paula Kaplan, Domino, and Fiona Volpe.
All right, all the babes in this movie carry their own weight, for lack of a better term. We're finally starting to get into more modern-looking women rather than very, very waifish. So they're starting to get a little bit more normal-looking, long hair instead of beehives, boobs, hips, as opposed to what we had in the last few movies, which is just a lot of rail-thin women. Domino plays a major part throughout the whole thing. Fiona Volpe carries her weight. She plays a great femme fatale, is once again a huge part of the movie. Largo, for the most part, just walks around looking goofy.
How does he look goofy? He just wears his eye patch underneath his swimming goggles. What's goofy about that? Is he gonna get salt water in his missing eye? That would hurt. All I know is he's the bad guy from Diabolic. So,
Is he really?
yeah, he's a bad guy from Diabolic.
Wonderful.
Yeah, he's in a shitload of like Italian Euro spy kind of movies.
We're outside the 3-mile limit, luckily.
The SS Joanne Worley.
Is that stud coming?
I beg your pardon, but... Can I have another ho-ho?
The girl who plays Pat is gorgeous. Domino is gorgeous, has a lot to do.
Poor Pat.
What?
Poor Pat. This is... Wait, we talked about it before. Holy fuck. James Bond is super goddamn rapey in this fucking movie. Like, he sexually assaults her, and then he almost dies by being forced to fuck a machine. And just the goofy... I don't know why anybody thought this would work. There's no reason. There's no reason anybody would think this would work. It looked goofy. It's not menacing in any way. A movie before this, he was strapped to a goddamn plank with a laser going on his dick. And this is what we get? It looks like he was fucking a bench. It was dumb. But yeah, after the whole ordeal where he's fucking a bench, he fucking blackmails her into having sex with him. And then suddenly she's okay with it. Like, this, the creepiest, rapiest bullshit.
You must have pushed the switch accidentally. Well, you better come along with me. Spend a few minutes in the steam room. It'll help to relax you.
Yes.
Might even shrink you back to size.
Somebody's gonna wish the day had never happened.
Well, you wouldn't tell Dr. Wayne. Please. I'd lose my job.
Well, I suppose my silence could have a price.
You don't mean... Oh, no.
Oh, yeah? See you later.
She ended up falling in love, though. By the time he leaves,
She was fucking screaming for it. You'll call, right? You want to come back?
You move in together?
Pat, honey, you're better than that. You don't need no man.
You must be joking.
So, for my score on Babes is going to be actually relatively high. Despite the fact that I wasn't a big fan of the movie. I'm going to go 6.
Yeah, I think that's a good ruling. I would go 6. There's Moneypenny's great in it. The back and forth. We're always a big fan of Moneypenny here.
Because she's one of the few women that can keep up with Bond as far as verbal jousting. So
Yeah.
Ding, 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 ding.
Yeah. And it's the scene where she kind of gets scolded by him is really funny. Kind of like getting her hand caught in a cookie jar kind of thing. It was great.
Was there ever a man more misunderstood?
Now, James, you can't pull the wool over my eyes. You may be able to calm the old man, but I know better.
So do I, Miss Moneypenny. And I'll thank you not to refer to me as the old man.
I think I had a hat when I came in.
It's great. I would definitely go. I would go 6 on that. I'm simpatico on that one. I would go 6 out of 7. It's all downhill from here.
Yeah. We're on to booze. In this, he drinks Dom twice. Kudos. I mean, that's kind of a staple. He's
One's
always
a 55. I don't know what that means.
That's a year.
I know that, dipshit.
What?
I don't know if that's a good year or what.
Dude, I'm not looking up years of Dom. Right. I know champagne doesn't age as well as wine.
White Claw, you piece of shit.
So, in theory, a 10-year-old champagne would be as good as it's going to get.
It would have been 10.
Yeah. 10-year-old champagne, great. I'm sure there's one person's going to correct me and be, whatever. So he drinks Dom. He pours himself some random drink.
I think it was supposed to be. I think that's the martini.
It was okay because the bottles are not really identifiable. And then he has a Rum Collins, which, as we've covered, it's a beach drink. It's weak. It's made to be weak and to hydrate you.
Yeah, I can see how, especially when you kind of put it that way. I can see how it would be a refreshing drink. It's just. It smacks of dishwater to me. That's all I think when I fucking drink it.
It's an acquired taste.
But I can understand as we discussed off camera, it's an aperitif.
Yeah.
Or for rehydration. Yeah. You're the booze guy. Where does this sit?
That's rough. It's just the barest minimum. It's there to be there. Barely acknowledged. I don't want to give it a 0. Because he does drink a bunch of Dom, so I'll give it a 1. 001.
Yeah, we didn't get our line. We don't have your standard. Oh, what are you drinking? as much as I give shit to this drink, I do like that it's a drink that everybody can drink at home. They can, they can play along. Because like I said, this is a pairing. You're supposed to kind of play along at home.
This is basically the White Claw of the 60s.
It really is. It really is. It really is. And for that reason, you definitely helped me to narrow it down. It's a 1. It is.
And I like to drink. And it's a fucking 1.
Yeah, no, it's a 1. So yeah, like I said, it's all downhill from here. Obviously, it's a little bit of peaks and valleys, which this movie really kind of is. Like it's not bad all across the board. It's a lot of peaks and a lot of plateaus. Because it's not really valleys. And I think
it's not outright bad.
Yeah. And like
outright bad would have been interesting.
Right. And like because we're going from a shared 6 to a shared 1, which I think we're gonna go up a little bit better with our next category, which is baddies. So Thunderball's baddies it's a pretty stacked list. It's in terms of quantity, it is definitely it's definitely a stacked list.
In terms of quantity, I'll give you that.
It's not as memorable as the others. Aside from the fact the guy's got an eye patch. But yeah, when it comes to baddies, we've got the previously mentioned Fiona Volpe, Jacques Bouvard, who's Jack Lemmon, Emilio Largo, who is the number 2 of Spectre. There's Count Lippy. There is Mr. Angelo, Ladislav Kuntz, who kind of has a good turn at the end. And then there is Vargas and Yanni, who are the 2 sidekick assassins. One gets pinned to the tree.
I think he got the point.
Vladislav and Yanni are the only really memorable baddies for like just establishing a Bond level. This is really for the first incompetent boobs you have in Bond movies.
Dr. No died because of his hands. The fucking Russian maid was defeated by a chair.
Yeah, but like they presented it in such a way that it's kind of believable. These guys are just bumbling from scene to scene, fucking everything up. What can you say about Largo?
He drives a boat really fast.
He's got there's a foot of water in this pool, and there's nurse sharks in it. And we're led to believe that it's the scariest thing ever done. They kill a lot of sharks. They legitimately kill some sharks in this movie. Like, those are dead.
Like on camera.
Like, sharks aren't actors. Those are just dead sharks.
Sharks aren't actors.
Not wrong. Ain't no fucking shark walking around with a SAG card going, I got great insurance with this.
You know what? That's weird. There are bears with SAG cards, and there's tons of chimps and shit, dogs. I don't think there's any fish.
I don't know. Does the orca from Free Willy have a SAG card?
Actually, yes.
Does it really?
Yes, Keiko.
Keiko.
Keiko is the name of the fucking orca.
It's dead now, right? That thing was sick as fuck.
Dead as fuck. Yeah,
okay,
no.
Yeah, no.
It didn't last till fucking. It didn't last till the second one.
No, that thing was just horribly out of shape.
As big as a whale.
What sharp little eyes you've got.
One of the better parts of the baddies in this movie is that Spectre does make its presence known. There is Blofeld. You don't see his face. They're still keeping him kind of hidden. He has his big circle, which has been parodied to death on Austin Powers and everything else. At least there's Spectre. At least there's that looming threat. Where you see that Largo is a part of like a bigger cog in the wheel that is Spectre. And they do establish that it's a threat, but it's just the tip, and you get a feel for it, and then Largo goes back to just being unimpressive. So kudos for putting Blofeld in there and establishing a mega threat to keep selling those movies, but...
And this is the first time that Spectre's really kind of made itself known, like, on a worldwide scale. To like, we're going to extort the world to try and get money.
It's a stupid fucking plan. It's so fucking... We want $100 million worth of diamonds.
Our intention is to demand a ransom from the North Atlantic Treaty Powers of $280 million. 100 million pounds.
It was 100 pounds. It was £1 million sterling. That's what they asked for.
$280 million. 100 million pounds.
It was £1 million sterling to be paid in diamonds or something like that.
$280 million. 100 million pounds.
But which, like, we did the math as far as like what it would be. It ends up being 1.6.
Less than 3 billion.
billion.
Yeah.
Pounds, or a little bit less than 3 billion American. So it's 3 Avengers movies essentially. I mean, like, we got to remember.
I know it's a product of the time.
We got to look at this movie through the lens of when it originally came out. It was fucking. This movie was the tits when it first came out. I'm sure.
No, because I mean, if
but
you look at Goldfinger and you look at fucking, God damn it, why can't Dr. No and Goldfinger, those plans felt suitably epic. This is just like, we just want money.
But Goldfinger's whole plan was to steal money from Fort Knox. So.
No, he was going to destroy money in Fort Knox.
I thought he was stealing it.
No.
I don't remember. It was so long ago.
2 months.
He
was irradiating the gold so nobody could ever have it.
Oh,
so his money would skyrocket in value.
So it was a real estate plan. So he's basically just fucking, he's lifting up kryptonite islands so he can make money off of real estate.
Blowing up California so his Arizona home is now beachfront property.
Right.
Correct. But it still felt more epic than this nonsense.
I mean, at the end of the day, when they're going to blow up Miami, fucking have it. Who cares?
Especially, well, I don't know. This is Miami in the 80s. Or 60s, Jesus. This is Miami in the 60s. It was fucking bumping, bud.
Landscaped luxury as far as the eye can see. The ocean front at Miami Beach, Florida, USA. Unique for reasons that are quite obvious.
So on baddies, I will give it a 2.
Really?
Yeah.
Only 2?
2.
I really like Fiona. Which I know she's already a part of the babes section, but I really like Fiona. And I don't know. I'm gonna go a little higher. I'll go 3. I hesitate to go to 4. I'll go 3. It's better than 1. Better than 2. It's 1 better than 2. I also have the problem of, like, I know what's coming. So that's another reason why I'm going with that number. But yeah, no, I'll go 3. I'm not gonna be that mean and go 2, but
it does nothing for it. Just
I like Fiona. And I'm a sucker for a dude in an eye patch.
The only reason it gets 2 for me, Jack Lemmon in a dress.
See, now I'm tempted to rock it back up to 4. I won't. I'm going to leave it at 3. But just, you know how happy Sean Connery was to even think about punching a woman in the face.
You think it's good to slap a woman?
No, I don't think it's good. I
think it's bad?
I don't think it's that bad. I think that it depends entirely on the circumstances and if it merits it.
Music, much like everything in this movie, is not really noticeable, drawn out, and kind of just fades in the background. The main theme is great. Thunderball itself, great music. Everything else, like, prime example, you hated all the Calypso music in Dr. No, but it stood out. You know what stands out in this movie? Nothing.
That is not true. So there's an actual, like, orchestral theme, not just the main theme, like, of Tom Jones' Thunderball, which is great. I'm getting this out. I'm getting this right out right now. My score is 5, and 4 of that is because of Tom Jones' Thunderball. It is the first good James Bond theme. It's so good. Well, no, Goldfinger's
good.
Goldfinger's good. Thunderball's better than Goldfinger. Thunderball is definitely better than Goldfinger. And there is, like, an actual, like, orchestral theme to Thunderball. It does pop up quite a bit. And you don't hear, it doesn't rely as much on the James Bond theme, though you could argue that it's basically just the bed of Thunderball. But yeah, no, I'm definitely, that is going to be my score. My score is 5. You also got to remember, you're deaf.
That is true.
Shoot deaf.
I am shoot deaf.
Which, I mean, when it comes to music, for the most part, we're really talking about the theme. We're not really talking about the actual music, because who gives a good goddamn? It's a James Bond movie. If you're coming to a James Bond movie for the score, you're doing it wrong. It's not a fucking Dario Argento movie.
The Thunderball theme is very good. Rest of it's no music, and the sound is mixed poorly, and everything is 3.
You always talk about the sound mixing poorly. It's not great, but I think it's just because you're deaf.
Yeah, I should be able to hear stuff. They should make it better.
Well, you're deaf, and we're also watching the movie through a sound bar. It also doesn't help. But just because our living room really doesn't lend itself to like surround sound.
To be fair, like when I say sound mixed poorly, I mean like the music is just washed out through this. Just worse than any of the other 3 Bond movies.
Oh, it's washed out because everything's underwater? We are at our final category before we tally everything up, and that is gadgets, which this is undoubtedly a section where Thunderball definitely shines. We have a lot to choose from here. We've got the jetpack that he flies at the beginning of the movie, the DB5 with all of its fun gadgets, the bullet shield, the water hoses. We've got the stuff that Q brings along.
Oh, no.
007.
What a wonderful surprise.
Well, for me, too. I must say, I find this business of equipping you in the field, on the run, as it were, highly irregular. Here we have a Geiger counter. Useful and unobtrusive. The sweep hand takes the radioactivity count. It's waterproof, of course.
But of course.
Now, here's something I want you to use with special care. With special care.
Everything you give me.
Treated with equal contempt. Yes, I know, but that's an underwater camera.
The underwater jetpack that somehow shoots out Mountain Dew.
That part was weird.
And then you've got the rebreather, which is so iconic. Like every time you type in James Bond prop online, and that's the first thing that pops up, largely because it's the easiest thing to 3D print. It's that and the golden gun are the 2 things that pop up immediately. So much stuff in here. Like I said, so much iconic stuff in here. Like I said, with the rebreather and everything.
Bucket with a hole in it.
Bucket with a hole in it. And then there's also gadgets that are not James Bond's gadgets. There's other gadgets that
the electrocution chair, the CIA book tape recorder, which is less gadget than just a tape recorder and a hollowed out book, but gadget nonetheless. If you count 407 spear guns and the little prop car that had the 2 nukes in it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the underwater car, which looked goofy as shit.
Well, no, because then there was Volpe had the motorcycle that shoots the rockets too, that she just dumps in a creek and just disappears. And then I forgot James Bond's most deadly gadget, and that is the little red rocket balloon that gets caught by an airplane, and James Bond just goes, "Ha!" and his neck snaps, and that poor girl has to cling to his lifeless corpse as they're drug across the fucking plane. And then I don't know how the hell she's supposed to land. She just falls in the water and shatters her ankles and drowns.
Because it looks like a real thing. It looks like that is a thing.
It is a real thing.
But like they overcranked it to the point where it looks like he's fucking just getting launched.
Yeah, that's the one that they overcranked that, and they overcranked the fucking boat, just violently flying around the water.
That was a hydrofoil, right? Is end boat.
Kinda, yeah.
For counting that as a gadget.
But yeah, like they overcrank that, but when it comes to the underwater bullshit, that is just real time, just as slow as fighting underwater can possibly be. But we're not talking about that right now. With gadgets, I'll go 4. I'll go 4 on gadgets with the sheer quantity. Rebreather is a popular item in Thunderball, and plus, like, it's fucking James Bond in a jetpack. So 4.
I'm gonna go lower. I'm gonna give it a 3, and once again, that's pretty much just for the jetpack, because all the gadgets appear here, and almost all of them are super inconsequential. The jetpack uses it for 2 seconds, when he could literally, he just could have walked there. He jetpacks from a place where he is to a place he can see. The Mountain Dew thing. He uses it for 5 seconds. He gets the place and then he detonates it.
No. He zips around. In the middle of the fight, he still zips around in the thing.
There's no zipping in that fight.
He's the zippiest.
What a blow it must have been. You having a failure.
Well, you can't win them all.
There's a lot of gadgets. Most of them are horribly inconsequential. The only thing the Geiger counter camera does is just give away the girl's look.
He almost gets her raped.
Yeah, I can't get above 3 for the gadgets, even though there is a lot of them. 3, that's it. It's my final answer.
Plus, we got to see Q in a Hawaiian shirt.
We did get to see Q in a Hawaiian shirt.
And that happens a lot moving forward, so strap in, buds.
For calculating our scores and rounding down, final score is 3, which I feel is a bit too high, but math doesn't lie.
I think 3 is fair. It's
such a stretched out 3.
It's below average. It's, like I said, it's not actively bad. It's just fucking dull. Because there's so much that just fucking doesn't happen.
There's so much underwater shots for anytime, and the whole movie's on beaches and boats. But anytime they switch to a different beach or boat, they show you in the ocean, which it's assumed that the ocean is doing what the ocean does.
And which may be the reason that happens for the other James Bond movies, because admittedly I don't remember many other underwater sequences. Hopefully that's the case. Hopefully Thunderball got enough of it out of its fucking system we never have to see it again. Yeah. Everything happens in slow motion. That's how water works.
The final climactic battle is 100% John Cleese running towards the camera. Just over, and they move. There's 20 of those shots, and they can't show them in the same shot because then it would look fucking ridiculous. So it has to be 145 cuts of people slowly moving towards each other, and they all have spear guns. There are flechette guns that work underwater, that have worked underwater since the 60s, but they all just have single shot spear guns, and we have to take this seriously.
They fought on top of a lobster.
They fought on top of a
that guy
lobster.
was freaking the hell out. There is a guy that gets his face shot in with a spear gun.
There is.
So at least there's that. And then there's the 3 guys that gets killed with a depth charge.
That's played like a Pink Panther.
Right.
And then a flipper. Oh, come on.
I didn't hate the flipper.
Oh, fuck you. Of course you didn't.
Oh, while we're on this, and we'll bring it back to the other thing. There's the part where James Bond is tailing Domino, and her foot gets caught in the fucking coral reef, because apparently she's running away from a slasher monster or whatever. And the best joke in the room was Joe when he was like, "Step brother," and goddamn it popped the whole room.
Yeah. Step diver, what are you doing?
Step diver, come help me.
Like there's this much room and the fin just gets caught in nothing, and it's just like, oh no.
And yet again, another example of James Bond just getting lucky. Yeah. No pun intended. Because in this movie he doesn't get lucky, he takes lucky.
That is kind of a trope in James Bond, that he does get lucky a lot of the time. Like, not
Well,
Lucky.
we've talked about
He
it.
just fucking stumbles back asswards into the right place at the right time.
Yeah, the whole underwater fight, it's just too much. Too much of nothing.
Too much, nothing.
And maybe perhaps making a movie on the sole auspice of, hey, I got this really cool underwater camera. It's not a good reason to make a movie. James Cameron, come a little closer for this. Just because you can go underwater doesn't mean anyone gives a shit. Okay? Fuck you.
The Abyss was better than this.
Fuck you. Hey, you know what Thunderball didn't almost do? Kill Ed Harris.
He's out of line, but he's right.
I know it sounds like sacrilege to talk about, like, because Thunderball is such a major movie in the James Bond franchise, but like it really is. It's not good. There are things that it does right, which we've said multiple times, but
well, its biggest sin is not only that it's not good, it's that it's just dull. It's not even comically bad, like a man with wooden hands trying to grab a pole, like.
And the underwater scene where you have the people coming together, like I even made the joke that it looks like a parody of a James Bond movie.
Yeah.
It looks like an Italian Euro spy kind of thing where it just doesn't work. It's not menacing in any way. It just doesn't work. Going into the show, I warned everyone that Thunderball is just not good. And I was hoping that somebody in the room would be like, no, I really liked it. No one in the room was like, oh yeah, no. Everyone like, this is bah. Like we normally have two other people helping us to record today. They both had to leave. We ran out of time watching this fucking movie. Also we lit a Ken doll on fire. Although there was that. We did spend time doing that too. Yeah. 3 seems fitting.
3 is more than enough.
No more, no less, I would say.
Just,
if I was feeling particularly prickish, I could say 2, but 3 seems fitting. 3 seems fitting overall.
Yeah.
Ciao.
Well, we seem to have gotten through this last episode unscathed. I think we can handle this on our own. Not that big of a deal. We're bored. We were very bored.
Very bored. Like that lobster.
Yeah, we got through it. Want to thank our patrons for supporting us. You definitely help to keep the monthly Adobe charges down. We appreciate that. If you would like to join them in their ranks as junior agents, you can. You'll see some behind-the-scenes video of us lighting a doll on fire and doing green screen shots of the jetpack, stuff like that. You can definitely check it out. Patreon.com/moderately Neato. Like, share, subscribe, do all that kind of stuff. I don't think we don't even really have to do this. Like, people know how the internet works.
Yeah, we know. We leave links in the description.
Right. Yeah.
If you can read, you can figure it out.
You can click the links for the videos and all the stuff that we buy. It helps us on Amazon. Nobody's ever clicked it before. Amazon actually shut it down because nobody's used it. But fuck it, go ahead. Who cares?
I used it.
Huh? We didn't get any credit for it. Yeah.
Oh, that sucks.
We'll have this discussion later. Bye, everybody. Thanks for watching.
Moderately Neato.
Now I'm tempted to rock it back up to 4. I won't. I'm going to leave it at 3. But just, you know how happy Sean Connery was to even think about punching a woman in the face.
Music.
Here's our transition.
before you switch up. I'm going to do that again because I'm pretty sure I fell asleep during that sentence.
Oh my god.
I was expecting that chair to go poof.
I heard that. I heard the noise that was.
I